Hey, it's Jang here from the unofficial LEGO Hero Factory MOCs blog with another build and set review from the Savage Planet series. This is Witch Doctor. This is the big bad guy, the main bad guy of the entire series right now. And man, this box is huge. I mean, just the box alone, look at it compared to an actual hero. Just a ginormous thing. It contains 331 pieces. This is a serious set, and they've really gotten into the Titan extra large sized villain thing, and they pretty much just went all the way with it. On the back of the box, you can see here that you've got just a scene of Witch Doctor going up against Raka XL. Now, because there are so many pieces in this set, and because it's such a complicated and long build, I'm not going to be able to take you through the whole build in one video. I'm probably just going to skip through and show you the major parts of the build, because it gets kind of boring just watching somebody building something part by part, especially when it's 331 pieces. Oh my god. So that said, let me go ahead and open up the box, show you what's inside really quickly, just kind of group the different parts together and take it from there. Okay, this is pretty crazy. This is just so many parts. I mean, where do I even begin? Thankfully, from what I'm seeing, most of the parts here are things we've already seen in the smaller villains and heroes, or they are technic parts that we've seen before, or the stuff that we've seen in the 2.0 series. Do have a bunch of these Ben 10 tail pieces. Probably saw that on the box art. Now here's a cool thing. You actually get two masks, or yeah, I guess call them masks here, with them, because one of them is actually going to go on his head and be his head, and one of them is going to go on his staff. Otherwise, just looking around in general, I'm looking for things that I haven't seen before. This piece right here looks like it has a swivel, a pin-sized, full-sized pin swivel going a 90-degree angle away from these two pin pieces that face downward. It also has a pin-sized hole coming down from the top. So that may be an existing part. I'm not going to go ahead and do the research. I just wanted to show these parts. They are interesting. They may be new. These are interesting. These are parts that I wish I had before. For a lot of builds, this is definitely going to be very useful. A quick and easy way to attach, for instance, to a beam, and I'm just kind of making this up as I go, but you know, you can attach something to a beam by just using an axle piece or two, and then that gives you a right angle to attach another pin through there. So that's a very cool little new Technic piece, and just checking really quickly, it does provide friction, so it's not a spinner, it's not extra large. So if you put a pin in there that has friction pegs on it like this, then it will hold in place. So that's a cool part, and we've got a whole bunch of them in this kit. I went ahead and organized the parts here a little bit just to make it a little bit easier and more quick to get to things, and now I'm going to go ahead and get started on the build. Look at that. How many balls are on that thing? Looks like an abacus almost. So there he is. That is the one and only Witch Doctor. I want to show you just how big this figure is, because he's bigger than he looks. Measuring tape says it's about 14.5 inches. Now, what does that mean? That is what that means. That is your average sized hero, Stormer 3.0. In comparison, yeah, he's like over twice as tall overall. This is a gargantuan figure. It is just absolutely massively epic for an actual set. You know, I've seen mocks that are larger than that. I've made mocks that are larger than that, but to actually get something directly from Lego that is this size is really amazing. Just astonishing, the bulk of him. All in all, he looks good. You know, it's got a consistent color scheme going through it. It doesn't have different colors popping all over the place. They don't have the little blue pins showing up in the front. When you look to the side and the back, you can start to see some of that, but for the most part, they kept it very consistent going all the way around. They used these red individual ball joint pieces to just go with the rest of the color scheme. One thing that's a little bit off, I think, is this right here. This is actually how they tell you to build it in the instruction manual, but if you look on the box art, he actually faces the staff towards the front, which makes a lot more sense. You know, it's facing the eyes in the direction of whatever his target is to control. Much better like that, I think. You know, an interesting thing about this whole set is that it really went together more like a Technic set than a Hero Factory set. During the time that I've done, or the times when I've done 2.0 series Hero Factory mocks, I've sometimes struggled to keep them within the building system that Lego introduced with the 2.0 series Hero Factory with the ordeal of fire. And it's really interesting to see here that Lego themselves had a lot of trouble using just that system to build a more complex, more detailed, more intricate set. So many of these things are built up from scratch. I mean, if you look in the instruction manual, you see that they listed 13.9 of these individual little red ball pieces, Technic ball pieces, being used in this set, and that's 39 places where they were not able to use the Hero Factory 2.0 series new ball and socket pieces, where they just weren't successful at creating the structures they needed using these new pieces. So it just kind of validates and vindicates for those of us who have struggled a little bit to get really nice creations using that system. Kind of verifies that even for the masters themselves, even for Lego themselves, it is a little bit difficult to make a lot of the things you want to make using just those. So 13.9 of those individual little ball pieces used throughout here. This thing kind of went together like almost like a Makuta Pterodax, just in its construction, just the feel of the construction overall, and how many different little assemblies had to be put together and then fit together, different parts keying into each other. But the end result is definitely worth it. There are some parts that still stand out. Mostly, I'd say mostly the arms, mostly the lower arms, the forearms, do have just the plain, plain skeleton, the plain backbone that they use with those ball and socket joints. They just kind of stick out. They're not well covered. Kind of like in the 2.0 series, we had Fire Lord with his legs that were just kind of sitting out there and not covered very well. The legs here on Witch Doctor look good. He's got a good amount of solidness to it, a good amount of bulk to the whole thing. They put in these larger body armor pieces on the side, and just the sheer, really just the bulk of how many parts are together in a small space kind of makes it look somewhat solid. So very solid base, solid upper arms, pretty good job on there. Of course, most figures are not going to look good from the back, and this is no exception to that whatsoever. it would just cost too much, honestly, just being fair to Lego. It would cost them too much to add in all the extra parts to make these things look good from the back, because you know there's just a lot more armor that would be needed to cover all that up. So it doesn't look so great from the back, but it's not bad. It kind of looks more like a Bionicle Titan from the back, basically, except for these areas where you can see the new style armor on the side. But all in all, an amazing figure. This is definitely my favorite Hero Factory set yet out of any of the series, hero or villain. I like the color scheme. I like the overall stance. You can't say no to the size. Looking up a little bit more closely at the upper part and just looking at the head, it is empty. You know, there's nothing behind that head as far as, you know, an inner head piece. But it kind of makes sense because he's kind of skeletal, right? And then you've got an extra head down here on the staff. The staff is really good. I think they did a great job with that. It looks very purposeful. It looks like it's all meant to go together. Kind of wish it was a little bit longer. I think if I was to get into customizing the figure a little bit, add a little bit more bulk to this neck part here, and then add more length down below so that it becomes a little bit more of a large staff. This is kind of like a size of a maul, like a small hammer almost. But I mean, that's really nitpicking, to be honest. Overall, it just looks good. I like the use of these medium horn spine pieces. These are not new for Hero Factory, but I'm glad that they used those. Again, goes with the color scheme, also goes with the overall theme. You got these Ben 10 pieces, tail pieces used as spikes up above. Not bad. I wish that they were filled in a little more solid on this side. You know, they're solid from this side because that's actually how they were meant to be used originally, I believe. But it still works out okay and just adds a lot of character and flair and excitement, I think, just to the overall look of them. It's interesting that on the box art, I already put the box away, but on the box art, these hoses here, these ribbed hoses that go around forming a little bit of a rib cage, were red. And in my set, I got 2 red ribbed hoses that you could use there, as well as the white ones, and the instructions tell you to use the white ones. So I think that's a little bit of a change that they made late in the game. They decided to go with the white in the instructions. I'm not sure which is really right, or even if it really matters. I think the white looks perfectly fine, but if you look at the box art, the red looks pretty good too. So it's up to you. If you get a set that has both pairs of hoses, you got the white ones and the red ones, you can choose. And if you decide on just one of them, use the other somewhere else. You know, you can add them, get creative about it, find some other places to hook those up, maybe integrate it into the staff a little bit, you know, have some parts kind of dangling off of that. So this is definitely a great character to build upon. It's a great set to build upon, to add to change things around. You can make a smaller version of them, possibly make a bigger version, but I don't know, it's pretty heavy and pretty tall as it is, but it's very sturdy. All of the joints have at least 2 ball pieces connected to them, or 2 ball joints. So everything is fairly stiff, and there's no risk of anything kind of falling off or just losing its pose. It's very, very firm. Matter of fact, you can see I actually just pulled that out because it's just that stiff. But that's good because, you know, it's better to be a little bit too stiff rather than a little bit too loose. It's interesting, they kind of chickened out as far as how they did these shoulders right here. You know, you've just got 2 of those individual Technic ball joint pieces that they added on with axles, and they're just along one axis. And then looking at it this way, you've got 2 more again, just for the other axis that gives you 2 axes of movement. And it's very straightforward and kind of simple. It goes away from what they've done before on Titans of having another part in the back that kind of connects down behind to add more rigidity, more stiffness to it. Here they just went pretty straightforward, but you know what? There's enough bulk to it that I think it looks okay. So let me know what you think about the Witch Doctor. Comment on the video on YouTube or comment on the blog at hero-factory.blogspot.com. Always looking forward to hearing what other folks think about these sets. Of course, be sure to check out my other reviews of both the villains and the heroes from the Savage Planet series. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe on YouTube. It's LEGO JANG. And check out the blog, and I'll be talking to you again very soon. Thanks for watching.